Hello there, world of tankers, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Blitz, and in today's video, I will be reviewing all of the tanks available this week for sale. There's quite a bit of vehicles. We got the E25 and Tornvagn in a bundle. We have the Lansen C and Keiler in a bundle. The ST62 version 2 is in crates, and the FE2 and 7 Badger is for sale at the price tag of 17,500 gold. There's obviously crates and other things that you can spend your money on, but we're not going to be focusing on crates here. We are simply going to be talking about the bundles available and what I think might be worth it and what isn't worth it. So let's take a look at everything that is in the store. We are going to start off with the lowest tier vehicle, so we're going to do the E25 and Tornvagn bundle. Now there's no way to get your hands on this bundle apart from spending real money. It's a little unfortunate, and honestly because of that I'm saying it's an instant L. I personally don't think it's worth your money to spend $24 on this bundle when you can get gold and, for example, get something like the Steadfast Resilience for 11,500. I don't know how much 11,500 gold is. We can take a look here at the double bundles, and it's about $15-ish worth. But the thing is that you can obviously earn gold for free by participating in events. It's just a lot easier to spend gold on vehicles rather than dropping actual cash. So that's what I'll say already. I don't think the bundle is exactly worth it because it is not for gold. It is going to be cheaper on Wargaming's website. It'll probably be closer to $20 on their website, which is definitely a bit better. So always, whenever you're buying a bundle, especially if it's actual money that you have to spend and not gold, go to the wargaming.net website. It is cheaper there because they don't have to pay tax or pay the companies, like Apple, a certain amount of the revenue they make. So we're going to start off with the E25. This is an absolutely insane little tier 7 tank destroyer. It has really good DPM at 3,000. And it's a stupid mobile vehicle. It's probably the most mobile TD in the game. It reaches a top speed of 65, it reverses at 20, and it has a power to weight of 32.1. There's a reason why this thing is called the cockroach, and that is because it is literally a cockroach. It just runs around, absolutely annihilates you, and then runs away. And yeah, it definitely has downsides. I mean, you can HE this thing from the front if you have a 130 plus millimeter. It doesn't have a lot of hit points at only 1,060, and its alpha damage is pretty mediocre at only 160. Plus, it doesn't hold that many shells, although it's fine. You'll notice in this replay we're taking a look, I actually played this game yesterday, so I was like, well, if the tank's for sale today, why not just show the replay I had from the vehicle yesterday? This game here, unfortunately, I forgot to change the base ammo loadout that the press account comes with. For some reason, Wargaming has it that all vehicles on press accounts have the exact same amount of AP, heat, and HE. And it's kind of annoying because I always forget to swap it, and I just end up with something like this every now and then where I've got 20 APCR and then 20 heat and 20 high explosive. So yeah, it's a little unfortunate. If this is a 150 millimeter, it wouldn't be too bad because I'd be shooting a lot of HE anyway. But yeah, not on a little pea shooter like this that has like a 75 mil. Either way, let's see what we can do. We got the Churchill, and surprisingly, I bounced the flat side of him. I'm very surprised. And even more than that, I got spotted? This is an E25. What do you mean I got spotted? It's got one of the best camouflage values in the game. I was honestly quite impressed that I was able to be detected from that distance. That's not that big of an issue because we're just going to use our mobility, try to make our way over towards the silencer. We can see that this silencer is kind of oblivious and has backed himself in a very bad position. So we're just going to get into this little bit of a hull down spot. And we're going to get 1, 2, and 3 shells into that silencer. And we took about 500 hit points off of his tank. It's a great example of where the damage output of this vehicle is insane. You just have so much DPM when you're using this vehicle properly. Now, unfortunately, my Annihilator kind of is getting in our way here, but I was quick to notice the silencer rolling off, so I was able to get the silencer shot, and then back over to the T25AT. Now, because we have such a low alpha damage, we were able to completely pepper this T25AT to death, but he was still able to shoot us, which is a little annoying. But we have the enemy CS-52 LIS. We got him shot for 150. We're going to back up. He rams me, but only takes off about 8, which is actually rather surprising. And we're going to finish him off just like that. So there you go. That is 2,200 damage dealt already. But you'll notice where the lack of shells is a bit of a problem, judging that we only have 3 APCR left. But I really can't get too mad. This has already been an absolute blast of a game. We've only bled about half our health. And we've been able to just completely demolish what has been placed in front of us. As I said, the E25 is just a bop. It really is. Because it's so low down, it makes it incredibly sneaky and just fun to mess around with. Now this Churchill, once again, just getting these lucky bounces. I was kind of hoping that would pen him, and then we put on our adrenaline, and obviously that didn't go too well either. I was really hoping, though, that we could permanently track that Churchill. That's one of the great things about these pea shooter style vehicles, is that you have the ability sometimes to just track somebody over and over and over and kill them. It doesn't happen very common, but when you do get the ability to, it's quite insane. But as of right now, that is obviously not the opportunity, because just haven't had the option yet. So we're going to try and just flank at this point. I feel like flanking is definitely the easiest option. We have the Churchill Mark 6 right here. And we also have the Annihilator. I'm not worried about the Churchill. I'm worried about that Annihilator. Because if I get this Churchill to spot me, which he obviously is, and then the enemy Annihilator turns to start shooting at me, yeah, I don't really love that idea. Now I'm going to shoot at the KV here. I don't know how that pens. All I have is heat. And I literally shot him right in the track wheel. And the heat still penned. I don't understand Wargaming RNG sometimes. I really don't. You know, I could have had a tank with 290 mils of pen, shot that, and it would have bounced. But an E25 goes right through. Either way, we're going to shoot this Annihilator. If I had APCR standard still here, I probably could have done a little bit more damage. Maybe about 150 more. But not that big of a deal. We did 3,100 in our E25. And I think it's a pretty good example of this vehicle's capabilities. It's a great tank. It's fast. It's fun. It is really a good vehicle to pick up. The only problem is, as I said, it's just in a bundle that I can't really say is worth it. So, yeah, that's the only problem with the E25. And then we make our way over to the Tornvagn. Now, this is also a very solid vehicle. It's got a lot of pen, 280 mils of APCR, 240 mils of standard, so penetration is not a problem for this vehicle. Aiming time is pretty mediocre, but the thing people always forget to mention is that if you compare a gun like this to your average Soviet-style Tier 8 Heavy, it's multiple times better. It's got really good pen, it's got the same damage per shot, and its dispersion and aiming time are way better than that of an IS-5 or a 2.5-2. And when you pair that with 10 degrees gun depression, a top speed of 37, and very solid armor, I actually think the Tornvagn is quite a capable tank. It is essentially a Concept 1B put down into Tier 8. So what does it have going for it? Well, first of all, it's got an incredible turret. Probably one of the hardest turrets to pen in the game. Not just because of the fact it's got good armor, but it's also the fact that it's just so small that it's very hard to shoot. So when it's bobbing and weaving, yeah, good luck hitting the turret on this vehicle. If you have premium APCR, yeah, you can definitely get through it. But if you have heat, there's a very high chance you'll hit the gun, and it's all Jover. When you pair that with the fact that Tornvagn's got a pretty solid gun in return, it's usually going to pen you in that type of engagement. And as I said, the mobility on this tank is surprisingly good. It has decent traverse speed. So in that regard, I actually really enjoy the Tornvagn, and I can't complain too much about it. I mean, yeah, the DPM isn't anything incredible, but it's not the worst either. I mean, I don't think 1900 DPM is that bad, especially because you can run rammer and get it over 2K or something close to that. So let's see. What do we have? 1390, 274A. Not too much in terms of mobility on their team, but as I always do, I like to make my way over towards medium side on Canal because I feel like I can make a bigger impact if I can clear the mediums first. So we can see here, this is that good power to weight. I mean, we accelerate right up to our top speed of 37 kilometers per hour with really no issues whatsoever, and that's why this tank is quite nice. Hopefully this Samil, okay, I was going to say hopefully this Samil gives us a little bit of leeway here. But yeah, we're going to head right in. Tornvagn's obviously not the prettiest looking tank, I will admit that right now. It is honestly quite possibly the ugliest looking Tier 8, or one of them. I mean, I don't think it's the worst, it's just, it's pretty not great. Like, that's the best way to describe it. Okay, well, our CDA's over at base A. I'm not seeing anything yet, so that means they're either somewhere in that area or they're over here. We are indeed detected, and there's the enemy 274A crossing, so yeah, they have to be over here. Alright, well, there's the enemy shark. They're all in the back there. Love to be able to get a shell out, but it doesn't look like that's the case as of yet. No. Well, I don't really know what to do here. Our CDA has bled a lot of health at this point, and I don't know. I could get the T-29, but I just don't think the T-29 is really a threat. You know, I feel like these vehicles in mid are much bigger problems and things to take care of. So we got the enemy shark right in front. There you go. Nice 415. The mid plate, as we can actually see a great example of on this tank, is very strong, and you will get a lot of bounces in it. So that's actually something I really like about the Tornvagn. We're going to get another nice 400 roll into the lower plate of the T-54E2 Shark. And yeah, that player has bled a lot of his very, very important HP. The T-29 is most likely going to back up after he shoots, and he does, and there you go. 374 damage. Not too bad at all. We have 1,200 damage dealt so far this game, and we are going to simply reload, and we're going to poke this corner, only trying to show a very, very small amount of our haul, and finish him off. There you go. So far, pretty easy stuff. This is why the Tornvagn's quite nice. As you can see, the gun, it's not the best, but it's got plenty of accuracy. And when you pair that with the fact that we haven't even gotten shot yet, it's kind of a pretty easy result so far. So we're going to move up here. And where is this IS-2? There he is. Hello, good sir. Thank you for the 436 hit points. And there you go, another bounce. Not exactly sure where that one was, but doesn't look like it was on our hull. Probably somewhere in the upper plate. Okay, we got the 274A. I don't even know what bounced me when I think about it, but I am going to aim it on the 274. But yeah, the accuracy on this tank is actually quite good, and that's the major thing, as I said, I like about it. It's not your awful Soviet heavy, where you don't actually have good values going for it. It's pretty good in that regard. So we got the Semavente Contra Caro 56 all the way off in the distance there. We're going to aim in and just take a good old blind shot. Unfortunately, it does look like that SMV backed off the last moment, but it's not that big of a deal. We're going to have a shell in just a couple seconds here. The IS-2 doesn't even have the gun elevation for us, so we're going to slam a shell right into his hatch to clear him, and we're going to head over towards the SMV. We're at 2,400 damage already, which is a pretty solid result. And I don't know if we're going to be able to get too much out anymore. The AMX 1390 is pushing that player, but for some reason our Basilisk doesn't want to deal with the SMV. Alright, I mean, that's fine with me. If I can basically farm this guy for full health, that is an absolute dub. So let's head up this hill, and let's see if anybody's here. There he is. Alright, let's just aim it on his upper plate. There you go. Nice 380 damage shot. And we are getting shot in the rear by the enemy AMX 1390, but I don't think it's the biggest issue ever. Okay, well, we are still getting shot by him. There's really nothing I can do about that. I don't understand why our team is allowing me to get shot by him. That's what I don't get. But we're going to reload in 4 more seconds. I honestly feel a little bad for our Sturmill because of the fact that he literally drove all the way over just to not get any damage. But at the same time, that's life. So I'm not giving any free hand-me-downs here. We did pretty good. 3,600, 3 kills, a win. We didn't really get to use the Tornvagn's haul-down capabilities, but we didn't really need to. We did showcase where the gun on this vehicle does feel quite good, though. It's surprisingly accurate, and yeah, I like the tank, so I can't really hate on it all too much. Now we make our way to the next thing. Let's do the ST-62 version 2. This is the Tier 8 Soviet crate tank as of right now. I don't know where the heck these crates are for sale, but they're not a good deal. I can tell you that for a fact. Here we go. It's $6 for a singular crate, but they probably have the bundle, yeah, where you can get 2 of them for $6. So it's going to be 30 charms to get your hands on this vehicle, guaranteed. And one of these bundles is 15,000 gold and gives you 10 crates. Is it worth it to spend 45,000 gold for an ST-62? No, it's not. I mean, there are other things you can get in here. There's a 1% drop chance for a massive container, which is honestly pretty cool if you get it, but it's still not great. You get a 6% chance in total to get something good out of these containers for 15,000 gold. Unfortunately, you're not allowed to open crates on press accounts because I'd show you, but yeah, oh well. The ST62, I personally don't think is honestly good at all. I don't get why this tank is being sold in crates to begin with. And when I say I don't think it's good, I just don't mean that it's got anything unique about it that you can't find in another Soviet Tier 8 medium. I actually think the 274A is a lot more enjoyable, and we can take a look at the 274A very briefly and compare it. So this is the 274A, and this vehicle, in my opinion, just has kind of a better gun. 0.326 dispersion, 2,000 DPM, and 310 damage per shot with 7 degrees of gun depression. And the ST62 version 2 has 290 damage per shot, or 280 actually. It's got a little bit more DPM, as we can see. I might be running rammer. No, I'm not. It's actually got pretty good DPM, I will admit that, but it's got about 30 less alpha damage, which is quite a bit. It's got 1 degree less gun depression. I don't know. I don't really love Soviet mediums to begin with. I think they're pretty boring because they're just run-of-the-mill tanks. And when you throw them in crates, it's just an absolute L. So don't waste your money even remotely on the ST62 version 2. This is just one of those vehicles I could really care less about. I played probably a total of 3 games on my main account at it, and then I haven't touched it since. So yeah, that's about all I can say. I don't think it's like the worst tank ever. You'll do all right in it, and it does look cool. I will admit that. It looks kind of like a Soviet heavy in that regard, like one of the higher tiers on PC. So that is kind of cool. But yeah, again, I don't know. I can't really say there's too much about this vehicle that I find all too exciting. So we are going to make our way to the mid of the map and get right into my famous bush. This should be named the Droodles Blush, yes. We're naming on the Dracula. One thing I will say is that this vehicle does have pretty good on-movement dispersion, which makes it somewhat nice, at least on snapping shots and things like that. Got the Comet in the back, and there you go. Nice shell, goes directly where I aim, which is always quite nice. We'll see how my aiming is today. I had to wake up early this morning because I'm dropping my truck, or I dropped my truck off to get vinyl put on it, because I want it to look like the original manufacturing. But the only problem with that is I got very little sleep last night, so my brain is... Either way, we're doing pretty good so far. We're up to 1,200 damage in a very short amount of time. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to push up here and try to maneuver my way to the side of the Scorpion G. Aiming, and there you go. 359 damage shell. Thank you. T-29 does get shot, but he gets the shell back, and that's a little unfortunate. Can't really say it's the tank's fault, though. It's just a little bit bad RNG, I guess. There you go. Nice shot into the RU, and the Scorpion G is dead as well, so pretty easy stuff. Okay, well, RU is not really much of a threat as he's dead. We get a nice shell into the Yag Panther. We do get hit by the Type 59, but it's not really an issue. The Type 59's already donezo anyway. Dracula's camping in the back. Okay, well, I don't know. It's kind of a... I hate going up against SMVs because there's really no way to counter it. Can't hit the Type 59 at this angle, but I don't really know what the Type 59's doing. I'm just going to move up over here. We're going to aim it on the Drac. Should be a pretty easy shell. There you go. 284 damage into his tank. I will admit, though, this is not looking like an instant win. In fact, this is looking kind of like a loss now. It was looking like a very easy win, but the more I look at this game, the more I see our team doing really bad. And yeah, this is actually looking like a loss now. Well, I'm going to try and shoot the SMV, as that is the most important tank to clear on the enemy team by far. We do have the Comet. We do have the Yag Panther over in front. We also have the Dracula. Cannot believe that SMV managed to hit us from that angle. That's really, really disappointing for me. There you go. We get another shell into the Drac, but... I mean, there's just not much you can do in one of these results. We did a pretty good job, though. I mean, yeah, not much to say. 3,600 damage. We held. We got good shots out. Our gun kind of trolled us a bit. I will admit that right now. Our gun was kind of sus. Like, it missed a lot of easy shots, especially on that Yag Panther. That could have been very helpful late game, but I don't know how our team really managed to throw that. That was such an easy win. They just kind of YOLO'd and threw it away. Oh well. Pretty good game overall. I will take 3,600 damage, and it does show where the ST62 has some good merits. I mean, the accuracy on move is solid, it hits hard, and it's got okay armor, but again, we didn't really bounce much, and it's just mid. Like, it's really just a mediocre tank overall. Alright, let's move over to the Lansen C. I actually can just do this, and there you go. Now, the Lansen C is a vehicle I've actually liked a lot. It's not the best tank, but I love the gun. 0.308 dispersion for 320 alpha damage is crazy good. And when you pair that with good penetration at 212 on the standard, 250 on the premium, it's got a lot of pen, great gun depression at 10 degrees, and while its DPM isn't the most, the alpha damage more than enough makes up for it. I love the Lansen C. I still have the highest damage ever recorded in this vehicle, which is crazy. It's like a 7,500 damage game in Tier 8, and it was actually the first video I ever made on this vehicle live when it came out. So, yeah, I have always enjoyed playing this tank. I don't know why people hate on it so much. If we make our way over to the gold bundles, or whatever, the store, we'll see the Lansen C somewhere hidden around here, and there you go. It's paired with the Keiler. Now, you can either buy the bundle for 11,500 gold, get 2 camos, the vehicle's fully equipped, with ×5 boosters for each vehicle, or you can purchase them individually if you scroll down to the tank tab for 6,500 each. I would definitely say getting the bundle is a better deal, and if you're going to go for one of the two, I'd honestly say the Keiler is a better tank over the Lansen, but that's just because the Keiler is a great tank. But I actually don't think this is a bad bundle. 11,500 gold for a medium and a heavy, both pretty strong tanks, is pretty good. Actually, the Keiler is one of the highest performing Tier 8s as it is, and it's no doubt in my mind why. It's got high alpha, great armor, decent mobility, but we're not going to focus on the Keiler yet. We're going to start with the Lansen, and we should do fine in this tank. You'll see the difference between this gun and the ST62 version too. Now, on move-wise, I think this gun is definitely a bit worse, but it feels almost like you're driving a Chinese-style medium, where it just goes zoop, and you're able to get pretty easy snaps out. It's one of those tanks that you look at and you're like, eh, looks alright, but then you play it and it's just an absolute bop. So hopefully we're going to load into a battle here within the next millennia. Hey Alexa, how long is a millennia? Alright, pretty solid matchup. We have a Charlemagne, E75 TS, the Skoda T56. For some reason, Wargaming doesn't like to line up heavies. Like, if you play World of Tanks PC, it's heavies, and then it's usually mediums, and then lights, or it might be TDs before that, but the classes of vehicles are always grouped together. But for some reason, Blitz, why don't they group the classes of vehicles together? It probably just randomly makes the list and then says, well, there it is, but oh well. I wish it was a little bit better in that regard. We are going to head right up, and we'll see what we can do. This tank actually has PBR, it looks like, which is interesting. I'm not sure why Wargaming would give a vehicle like this PBR when there's a lot of other tanks which you would think would get it over, but I'm not going to get too mad. We're just going to drive over here, get another shell into the Pershing. You can see how this alpha damage feels amazing. I mean, we are literally getting massive chunks into our opponents here, and it does feel pretty dang amazing to do that. We have the silencer, and there you go. I mean, do you see the aiming time, though? It's great. This gun, as I said, is surprisingly accurate. And it's not surprisingly accurate, it's just got a really good aiming time. And when you pair that with the fact it hits hard at 320, it's just a great gun. We're already up to 1,200 damage, which is always nice. And let's see, the Skoda shot at my teammate. I'm going to aim it on his lower plate. You can see that quick aiming time, and there you go. 316 shot a Rooney. We can see the Charlemagne off to the side of our poor teammate there. And he does get the shell out, but that's fine. We're just going to get a shell of our own into the Charlemagne and reload. I'm not in the biggest of worries here because we should just be able to bonk this guy. Pretty good. There you go. Another nice shell. Yeah, it's not going too well for you, is it? What was that? What the heck was that, bruh? Well, either way, nice shell. I'm going to let my IS-3 focus on him, and we are going to head over towards the Skoda T56 and E75 TS. I'm not sure why the Skoda is looking at me, but it doesn't really matter. We still get the shell out, which is always quite good. And we'll have another shell in a little bit longer. 3, 2, 1, bunk. 344 damage shot. You can see why I like the Lansen. The gun is just great. I mean, you're like, oh, it doesn't have great DPM and its armor's pretty bad, and then you play it, and it's just a bop. We did 3,578 damage in this game. It was a very easy win, and the gun felt great. I don't think we missed a single shot that entire game. Accuracy with Alpha, I will always take over DPM, because, sure, let's say a vehicle that has 3k DPM has really bad accuracy. Well, if you're missing 10 to 20% of the shots you have, then effectively your DPM is 10 to 20% less than a vehicle that hits all of its shots. And that's why I don't really think the DPM's that bad. You know, you can compare this to a vehicle that has high DPM, but if you're not hitting your shots, it just doesn't matter. So that's my viewpoint. Let's see. Up next, we have the Keiler. The Keiler. This is actually a really cool tank. First of all, I think this is one of the most unique legendary camos. Some people will like it, some people will hate it. I just think it looks cool because it makes this tank look massive with the lights and everything on it. I really like the camo. And let's take a brief look at its overall statistics. I also apparently forgot to equip the tank. I caught that with like the corner of my eye before we looked at the stats. So let me change my loadout really quickly here just so we can do everything properly. Got to change the consumables out. I always do the same consumable loadout for the majority of my tanks. Multi-use, and then basic repair kit, and then adrenaline. So now we can actually get a look at this vehicle's statistics. DPM-wise, pretty good. 2,000, especially for calibrated, not bad at all. 8 degrees of gun depression allows this tank to be flexible. And as I said, it's hard. 350 damage per shot. So it's got a lot of great things there. Crazy good pen at almost 300 millimeters as well, which is also very, very solid. It's got decent dispersion at 0.317. Overall, great gun. Mobility-wise, the tank reaches a top speed of 40 and reverses at 15. And while it has an absolutely dookie balls power to weight, it is still quite an enjoyable vehicle to drive. Now, because it has so much premium pen, I don't mind swapping to calibrated shells on a vehicle like this. Sometimes I like rammer, sometimes I like... I meant to say swapping to rammer. But, yeah, sometimes I like rammer, sometimes I like Cali. For a vehicle like this, I feel like rammer is going to be much more beneficial, especially when you get a matchup like this, where you're just going to be able to dominate. Also, if you're wondering what I'm drinking, it's good old root beer. I almost died there. Like, sucked a bit of root beer into my throat. But, I've had diet root beer. And I've had non-diet. This is non-diet. And I have to say, diet root beer is just flat worse than normal root beer. It's not even close. Like, you know, diet root beer is a solid, like, A tier. But normal sugar root beer is S plus tier. Best soda by far. But let's get back into this gameplay. This tank is quite large, as you can notice. And it's a good thing and a bad thing. I mean, being big means that you can distract a lot of people and, you know, cause enemies to waste their time on you rather than your teammates. But the downside is that people are going to be looking at you over your teammates. So, you know, it's kind of got some good and bad in that regard. The mobility, though, you can see it's okay. I mean, once you pick up speed, this thing's quite heavy, so it usually keeps that speed. But the moment you're going uphill, yeah, it slows down quite a bit. Got the T-44 all the way in the back. We got the VK right there, and boom, 384 damage shots. It hits hard. I mean, 350, it's an absolute juicer in Tier 8. And we're going to aim it on the KV-3. There you go, 337 shot. I really like the alpha damage on this tank. I think it actually makes this vehicle really, really enjoyable for the most part. Got the VK-45 aiming. There you go. 367. Nice. Okay. Not bad stuff at all so far. We're going to put on our adrenaline. We're going to aim it on the SP. And, oh my god, bro just got absolutely rolled by high explosive. The T-2020 knew what HE was, and I did too. Dude did not enjoy life there all too much, I can tell you that for a fact. We got a nice shell into the KV-3, and he bounces me. The Keiler has pretty good armor. I'm not going to say it's like the most armor in Tier 8, because it's not, but it is a lot, and you will get very good bounces with this tank. We are already up to, I would say, it's got to be a respectable amount of damage. I mean, we've gotten some good farm out this game. We got the, oh, There you go. LT432, who just seppuku'd on me. And now we're going to back on up. I refuse to lose this game. I was going to HE the T-44, which would have been really nice because dude was gotten max-rolled by us, but doesn't matter too much. We're going to reload in just a moment here. And was going to load a gold shell, but doesn't really matter. Let's see. T-32 is getting a little bit bonkered, but it's not the biggest deal ever. They do have the Caliban just kind of camping here. And there you go. Nice 375 damage shot. Again, the gun on this tank is great. Like, it really is. You just get a lot of damage out with it. So we're aiming on the ISU. There you go. 340 damage shot. I really don't care if the ISU shoots me. We have enough health that we can take a shot from his tank. We're aiming on the rear of the Caliban. 390 damage high explosive later. I don't think he enjoyed that very much. I'm going to be real. Alright, well, let's see. The Caliban does kill my teammate, which is not optimal, but it's not the biggest deal ever. We're just going to get behind him. We're going to load in another HE, and look at that, 464. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to give him a nice old ram for an additional 70, and we actually out-reload the T-2020 because we have less alpha, so we're actually able to get another shell out into his tank. I mean, what a farm fest. This is why, as I said, the Keiler is amazing. I don't know if I was calling this the 75 TS. They're basically the same thing, but the Keiler is just kind of better because it's got a better turret and a better gun. So, yeah, that's kind of just how it is. 5,114 damage in this tier 8. Not even an ace, which is absolutely crazy. Got a boatload of credits and a very easy win. This is a solid bundle in my opinion. I don't think this is overpriced. I think the Keiler alone is worth probably close to 8,000 gold. So if you're getting on a Lansen C tagged for about 3,500 plus the camos and everything else, not a bad deal. I would definitely say though, the Keiler is a better tank than the Lansen. I mean, you saw just how amazing this vehicle can do. So we now arrive to the final vehicle in today's video, which is the Badger. I like the Badger. It's got some great things, it's got some bad things. The great thing is obviously the gun. 3,800 damage per minute. It's also got a lot of HP, 2,240, and that is because you can run sandbag armor on this vehicle. So it's got HP, and it's got a lot of DPM. It's got good penetration. The problem with the Badger, well, there's a couple. First of all, it's a non-turret tank destroyer, and it's got really bad sides and rear armor. So, yeah, if you get tracked, which is quite easy to do in this vehicle, it can fall apart fairly quickly. That's the first thing about the Badger. The other thing that's not great is the fact that it's just quite a large vehicle, which means people are going to shoot it. And then you arrive to the gun. The gun's great, but it has the worst on-movement dispersion literally in Tier 10. The FE2 and 5B183 has better dispersion on move than this vehicle. Like, look at the bloom on this tank when you turn it. That is ridiculous, especially for a tank that is supposed to be fairly accurate. Look at the what is this aiming circle? Like, even a 263 isn't this bad. It's weird. Now, don't get me wrong, the Badger's a great tank. Like, it's got decent mobility for how heavily armored it is. And the gun, when used properly, especially if you can get it to fully aim in, is incredible. But the fact that Wargaming nerfed its dispersion and on-movement values was the worst thing that they could have ever done to this tank. It's very disappointing because, yeah, I don't know why they had to do that. What they should have done when they were nerfing this vehicle is just maybe nerfed its DPM a little bit to like 3,600, or maybe nerfed the lower plate, maybe nerfed the traverse speed, which is what I think should have been done, but nope, they nerfed the one thing that I really enjoyed. But we'll see what we can do here. The Badger is still a very aggressive vehicle that can get away with a lot of things, and it has Hesh now, so it did lose some stuff, but obviously having Hesh is quite a good capability that I don't think anybody can take away from this vehicle. I'm going to move over here. Actually, if the Stritzvahn's going to allow me to aim in, there you go, I will get a pen into his tank. And you know what? Actually, what I'm thinking right now, oh, but that Sheridan's back there too. Okay, well, let's just back up and let's just see if we can kind of cut them off over here. I feel like this would be a lot better of a way to work this position. That shell misses, but it's not that big of a deal. The Centurion might try and come over here, and if he does, there you go, 430 shot. We're going to wiggle. Oh, he's running the stock gun. Oh, that sucks for him. Alright, let's just aim it on the sense again. Surprised we hit that, but you can definitely see how bad this tank is at snapping shots. Like, it is impressively bad. And because of that, it can definitely cause you to not enjoy driving this tank. Well, there's the scent. Thankfully, we were able to aim in and get the clear. Okay, not too bad. We got the enemy Stritzvon in front of us, and we're going to just chill right here. Not really sure why the Stritzvon poked us, but let's just chill here. And let's see, you gonna poke me again? Nope, you are going to give me your weak roof, though, which allows me to get another 400 damage shot. Not bad, not bad at all. Okay, well, our team's not doing great. I will not lie, but it is still very winnable. If the IS-7 clears the Stritzvon, I'll be a very happy man. Please clear him. Thank you. That's quite nice, because then we can aim it on the Sheridan. I can't believe the Sheridan saw our lower plate from that angle. I mean, oh man. And there it is. There's the 183. Camping in the back, not spotted on the ridgeline. I hate 183s. Every single fiber of my body goes to hating that tank. Thankfully, we got a very nice snap into the enemy, 30B, and that was mandatory. Like, hitting that shot increased our chances of winning by a lot. Okay, well, we again know the 183 is somewhere on that back ridge, so all I can do is hope that we spot him. That's about it. We'll see. He's got to be, like, right up there. That's my... Yep. Wow. The fact that he wasn't spotted for that is actually a joke. Like, that's so stupid. I don't understand camo values in this game. I seriously don't. Well, thankfully, he's dead. And that's the great thing about the Badger, is we have enough DPM to easily take advantage of that. Okay, let's move up. Don't know where the Sheridan is, but we'll see. We'll see what happens here. There's the enemy 752, and there's the Sheridan. I'm willing to take a hit from the 752 if we can clear him, which we indeed did. The problem is we now have 9 health, and that Sheridan is definitely going to kill me. So, oh well. Not much I can say about it. We played pretty good, but our Leopard did not. So, oh well. Let's see. Oh, wait a sec. Oh, no. No, that was such an important shot, and it missed. I mean, if this Sheridan just loads HE, I die, so it's not a very challenging thing. Let's see. I just don't see how I can really win this when it's a Sheridan that I literally can't outspot. You know, that's the problem. Well, what I'm thinking, I don't know if he doubled back, and if he did, then that kind of sucks for me, but I don't really have any way of doing anything about it, right? So, what I'm hoping is that I can get my... Yeah, there he is. Okay, well, we'll see what we can do. Come on, Sheridan, poke me. Come on. Come on. Let's see. Let's keep on backing up. Keep on backing up. And aim in. Oh, yeah, there you go. I can't blame him. I mean, he just shot us with heat, but there's nothing you can do in a Badger against a light tank at the end of the game. I mean, it's just that's how it is. If we had been able to hit that shell on the Sheridan earlier, maybe we could have won, but there's just not many world situations where you can come out with a victory. And he wasn't a bad player either. He should have learned what HE was. He could have HE'd me any time of the week, and he shot heat for some reason. So, a bit of a skill issue there, not going to lie. But very, very annoying, especially because we did so much. So let's talk about the Badger itself and the bundles available. You can get the Badger blank with just garage slot and equipped for 17,500 gold. You can get the vehicle with the legendary camo and a bunch of other crap for 20,000 gold. If you're obviously planning on getting the Badger, I would just recommend to get the 20,000 gold bundle, because first of all, the camo is really cool on this vehicle, and when they do give it PBR, it'll look fantastic. But you also get a bunch of other stuff like 30 days of premium. These mystery boxes alone will probably give you about maybe 1,000 gold back. So I can't really say that this is that much more expensive than just the base bundle. So I actually don't think it's that bad at all. And yeah, I think the Badger's honestly a fantastic tank. It's one of the highest performing tanks in Tier 10 right now, And there's no doubt in my mind why. It's got DPM, it's got mobility, it's got armor, it's got HP. It's a crazy good vehicle. So the Badger is a fantastic tank to pick up. And judging that usually you don't get premiums cheaper, or should I say collectors cheaper than around 17,000 in tier 10, it's about as cheap as you're ever going to get it. What I will say is if you really want to get a cheap tier 10, wait for the Blitz fair, but obviously that is around 5 months away, so I don't know if you, or not 5 months, it's more than 5 months, it's like 6 months away, 7 months away. So yeah, if you want to get the Blitz fair and you want to get really cheap deals, that's when to do it. But as of right now, this is it. And hopefully enjoyed today's shop review. There's a lot here. Obviously, if you want to see more weekly updates like this, you know what to do. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.